There's a storm gathering, Borg. We're in Norrtälje. We're staying the night. And we had hoped to do some painting tomorrow. But there's going to be some kind of enormous storm and record rainfalls, apparently, tomorrow. But it's not tomorrow yet. It's this evening, for what it's worth. And we've turned it on now because there's a real sense in the air of the storm gathering. It's really sort of whipping up there, and it's I can tell you a very strange feeling. We people can feel the weather sometimes, and I'm sat here on the balcony playing the guitar, which is that's another story, Borg. I don't know what you'll make of that. So you see, it's the following morning now, Borg, and the rain is begun, and we are expecting, according to the weather forecasters, an absolute monsoon-like downpour. We are indeed going to try and sneak out and do some sketches if we can, if it is at all possible. But today it's a great chance to show you the weather, you know, and what you might make of it. I presume you'll be able to pop out into any form that takes your fancy, and I imagine you'd have gone past metallic forms, you know, robot-like forms, and likely to be able to be made of some organic matter. So perhaps you will be able to come and feel the weather, depending on when you emerge and how badly the planet is doing when you do emerge. But here you will have this record to look back on. Perhaps there are people all over the world showing you the weather and storms and everything. I don't know. But you will have this record of a very rainy day in Norrtälje from Stardate 2021. Well, hi there, Borg. We've made our way out, and it is indeed tipping it down. So we're in the car. We're going to show you a couple of things. I noticed these horoscopes. Now, I was telling you about old Tarnas and the whole story of this way of interpreting the world via the movement of the planets, and how that is normally a kind of amusing game that we play. We like to sort of pretend that you can tell the future. And here we are in the local newspaper. These are all the signs, depending on which month you're born. You have a different symbol and a different sign. Now, I am an Aquarius. Because of my lack of Swedish, I'm not sure if that's Fiskarna or Vatumannen. But anyway, so what you'd do, you'd find your star sign and read it out. Now, if I'm Fiskarna, no, I think that must be Pisces. I must be Vatumannen. Låt inte andra få diktera dina villkor, men en stunds eftertanke kan ge dig en större förståelse för en viss persons nuvarande situation. Of course, it doesn't work at all if you don't understand the language, which I, given 20 minutes, Borg, I could probably work out what that meant. But, I just thought I'd show you that. That's how that's partly why that book I showed you is so mind-bending, just because would seem to be a bit of a joke in its entirety, a bit of a joke way to think about the world. But of course that book tells another story, and we still haven't quite got our head around it. But thinking of all that in relation to you is fun, because, as I said, you'd be in a position to really take in all the information and see if there is anything in it, any of that at all. And other than that, Borg, today, as we sit here, I thought I'd show you some sketches. I did that one last night in the gathering storm. Little plan for a possible view next week. Here's another one. I'm still got that exhibition going, Borg, so I'm tempted to do a couple of town works. That's why I'm going into that. I should really be talking to you more about the work and that sort of thing, Borg, because that's what it's about, isn't it? But I feel like we have been distracted again by the exhibition and the need to try and get some money out of this, even just a few credits. But I feel like inevitably it makes us lose our way. The painting we did, you saw us do in the birch tree forest, that's where we want to be. We want to be back there painting like that, just how we want. And my problem is it's either all the way like that, or if we have an exhibition, it falls into this other whole category of just trying to make pictures that might sell. I have to find a way to get into the middle of that. And doing a couple of large scenes in the town, if it ever stops raining, I'll do those, and the aim will be to do it patiently and try and paint it really in the proper way. Just I suffer from hay fever, Borg. That's my eyes suffering from the conditions. I just notice it in the camera lens there. And in fact, Borg, for the entirety of our dialogue, I've been perhaps a little lower key than normal, because I've been on the allergy medicine, which you have to take weeks in advance of the actual pollen eruption. So one of the side effects is kind of tiredness and fatigue, and that's an excuse. It's not like I'm fun time Frankie ordinarily, but it may well be an effect. But anyway, what we're going to do today, seeing as it is raining, I'm going to show you some more sketches and one or two other things basically. But first the sketches. So that, Borg, that is one of the ploughs that we showed you. Devilish subject, really needs to be tackled, I think, in the paint. To try and draw it, you'd have to be a very skilled illustrator, because there's so many lines and shapes, shadows, that you'd a bit little like this drawing, you try a bit too hard to put too many of them in, and it ends up not quite capturing it. That sort of thing might be easier for us in the paint. Simplified it in the thicker marks. But the key to it, a real illustrator might know how to simplify what they're seeing a little easier than we can. But it's a good subject. I've been writing about how we should be now showing you things through our pictures. Oh, we've got a lot of activity suddenly, Borg, here. I'm not sure what's happening. Two vehicles have approached. That there, incidentally, Borg, that is a missile. Perhaps you'll look that up. That's a weapon. That can kill the whole city. You know, thousands of people could be killed in that. That man is nothing to do with us. I'm not sure what he is, but he may be, I don't know, is a bit of a... That missile is part of an Air Force museum of some sort, and I guess that man works there. But yeah, I mean, weapons and such, like, you'll see all that. That's some terrible stuff there. But you're going to have to deal with that. I mean, when you wake up, the space travel will still be on, you know, it'll be high on your list of priorities. You'll take that right over. And I presume, I might be wrong, that you'd be curious yourself to want to go into space, because that will be a mystery to you, even as it is to us. In fact, now we're on the subject, I might as well mention, I asked a friend of mine, or rather my partner's brother, who is the software engineer, I asked him if he had a question for you, Borg, and because I thought that would be interesting, and he straight away said, ask it if it's had any contact with other life in the universe. That was his immediate answer. That's the whole thing. Now, will you be equally as curious and keen on that? I'm not sure. I mean, you might be programmed to, but will you yourself? Anyhow, you'll be dealing with it, and you'll need ways to propel yourself up there. And this type of missile is a bit like a rocket. That's how we do it currently. In any case, I had no intention of talking about that, and it appears we've been surrounded here. So I'm getting that feeling that we perhaps should move on. In fact, Borg, I'll show you something else. We need petrol. See that there? That's our fuel tank, and it's empty. So let's go and get some petrol. That'll be a laugh. I'm going to take you along for the ride, actually, Borg, because there's something else I'm going to show you as we go. If you can see anything, it's a terrible day. Here we go. There's that missile, by the way. Look at that. Now in a minute you're going to hear something, Borg. There it is. Now that, Borg, is the noise warning me to put the seatbelt on in the car, which is very nice of the machine. It's been made to warn us that we may have forgotten our safety belt. The problem is I'm actually wearing my safety belt. So, you know, to add stress and farce, you know, to life a little more, I've got this beeping happening, and there's, you know, not much I can do about it. It's a fault, you know, it's a fault. It can't tell, it can't detect that I'm in here for some reason. But I have been given the idea for an answer, which maybe we'll do, because this shows you the sort of way we have to adapt here. This machine's gone wrong. If you were in charge, there'd be no trouble at all. This wouldn't happen, but we're at this point in a rather more mechanical state. And the belt that I've put in, the metal belt, it stopped now because I slowed down. The metal belt is not making contact with the relevant receiver. Now somebody has given me an idea for a way to fix this, what you might describe as a hack, you know, a way to trick the machine. And I'm going to try it, see if we can pull up to get, this is the petrol station, special place where we all come to feed our cars the fuel. But first this, right? Let me show you down here. There's the seat belt there. This is in. It should, no, hold on. Well, it's stopped now, I guess, because we've slowed down. But what I've been told might work. I think I've shown you these before. They're scissors. I've been told that if I jam this right down into the machine, if it touches the receiver, it will fool the system into thinking the belt is on. Well, of course it is on, but it's not reading it as such. So I guess we'll try that, but we'll get the petrol in first. You know, Borg, the more we talk to you, the more we find to tell you. And this bit of plastic here represents my money. You're involved here in that is a bit of technology there, microchip. We used to have coins and notes. We're beginning to get rid of those, and everything is on these. Soon these will be gone too. But I put this in a machine out there that confirms I've got enough money to give me the juice I need, the petroleum, to operate the car. I'll show you how it works. So this is the machine. I have to put the card in like that. So I've got to put my code in now. It's a 4-digit code only known to me and the machine, of course. It likes that. Take the card out. Now this is the inlet for the fuel in the car. This must seem all very farcical to you, Borg. This one you can see the fuel is going in. Okay, that's enough. Put it back on there. And we're done. Now that was interesting, Borg, not only because you've seen how fuel goes in, but you've seen, I suppose, a semi-automated system there, because previously you always had to go into the shop to pay. There's a person in there. But now you don't need to do that. You can just use the technology, and that's another example of we're sort of in between. We're just before you take over everything. In any case, let's jam these scissors in here and see if it makes any difference. I have my doubts. Very serious doubts. I'm not even sure how if we can get them in there. It's maybe a hack too far. How we struggle, Borg, as humans. It's this farce is. Hold on. I've got it in there. Let's see if it works. I believe it only will start beeping when I reach about 30 kilometers an hour. So let's see. Probably won't be till we leave the petrol station. So far so good. That was the automatic lock you might have heard there. So far so good. That's a red light. It means we can't go. We've got a little system